Let us start. Have you seen the question paper? Shweta, Karthik, and may I know the student name? Here I am able to see something like Telestar. Have you seen the question paper, yesterday's question paper? Yesterday GS paper 1 and paper 2 were conducted, and today GS 3 and 4 currently going on. If you see the history questions, from ancient India, 2 questions came. From medieval India, 1 question. And modern India, 2 questions. And modern world, 1 question. Total 6 questions. But if you see the content, some questions directly you can write by reading ancient history, R.S. Sharma, and new NCERTs. By reading new NCERTs and old NCERTs, the basic books, whatever you are studying for the prelims and mains, like R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra in medieval India, Bipin Chandra in modern world, modern India. And when it comes to spectrum also, you are going to read when it comes to the prelims. From the same books, you can write some questions. But one question is very difficult to understand, and that requires a huge understanding with respect to the Gandhian ideology and Rabindranath Tagore ideology, because there is no single book which gives this comparison. In some books, you will find the ideology of Gandhiji. In some other books, you will find the ideology of Rabindranath Tagore. But whatever books we are studying, generally this content is not available. But again, in the competitive examination, difficult questions will not decide the competition. Always moderate and easy questions will decide the fate of a student. Because when it comes to easy question, where every student read the same source, some students will try to get when it comes to the marking, some try to get 40% of the score, some 50% of the score, some 60% of the score. If it is 10-marker question, 6 marks. If it is 15-marker, 60% of the score. Now, when it comes to easy question and moderate, then you should be able to score this much. This is how, when it comes to the competitive examination, the dynamics of the marks will work. You cannot always give the same parameter for the most difficult question and the most easiest question. When you get easy question, where you get the content, where you have read properly for prelims and mains, then you should be able to score 60%. This is how this will decide the competition. When it comes to moderate, then 50% of the score, you should be able to get it. And if it is difficult one, then if you can score 40%, you cannot compare the difficult question. If you get 40%, in easy question 60%, that means you are not writing well. It is not the comparison. In difficult area, if you get score 40%, that is one of the highest scores. But in easy question, if you get score 40, many people will be ahead of you. Because easy question, 50% also possible, 60% also possible. Now, when it comes to the history questions, the easy questions wherever possible, where sources are available readily, if you get score 60%, then you are giving the tough competition. And the difficult question, every student faces the difficulty. You need not to worry about the difficulty level. Don't even bother that you are not getting 60% of the score. You need not to worry about that. You give your best. Even if you get 40% of the score, that means you are the topper. So this is how competitive examination marks are going to play when it comes to the competition. That's why easy question, try to get more score. In difficult question, if you can manage to get 40% also, very high scoring. With this understanding, let us go to our questions. In ancient India, 2 questions were asked. One is with respect to geography, how geography play an important role in creating the history. That is very straightforward question. In R.S. Sharma itself, there is a particular chapter, the important geographical setting of India. If you read that particular chapter, you will automatically answer this question. Because very good, one particular chapter itself is dedicated in R.S. Sharma. So that means it is direct question. Then you should be able to score 60%. When it comes to Vedic society, what are the elements of Vedic society and religion, and what are the elements which are still continuing? This is also very straightforward, because once you read ancient India very clearly, the Vedic society will keep on repeating in the other time period also. That shows how Vedic society is keep on coming to the next generations. And today also, in 21st century also, we are following some of the, even though many are not, we are following, but some of the elements are still continuing from the Vedic society. That is the question. We have R.S. Sharma direct Vedic age itself, early Vedic and later Vedic. If you read the society angle of Vedic and later Vedic, those elements, some of them are still continuing, you can write it. That is also we can consider easy. Now this question, in modern India, it is asked related to tribals. What is the impact of the British on tribals and how tribals revolted or reacted? That means indirectly revolted. Tribal revolt, that is the direct chapter. In Bipin Chandra, you will have it directly. If you read that, directly you can write 6. This is where maximum scores you need to be able to get it. Now, when it comes to technology, Gandhi versus Tagore and railways, how to handle these questions? When it comes to these questions, technology in Delhi Sultanate, it is relatively difficult for the general study students. Why means, for optional students, it is one of the easiest questions. Because in optional, we have directly in syllabus also there, technology, science and technology during Delhi Sultanate, science and technology during Mughal time period. For history optional students, they can handle no issue. But for general study students, the basic books what general study student read, the Satish Chandra, when it comes to medieval India. Satish Chandra and new NCRTs. In both old NCRT and new NCRT, this sufficient, or there is no separate concept, the separate topic called science and technology during Delhi Sultanate. But the content is there. This is where you have to understand that even though specific chapter, specific topic is not given in Delhi Sultanate related to technology, but when they are discussing about economic aspect about Delhi Sultanate, there Satish Chandra used to discuss about the science and technology also. And this is where general study students need to get what are the technological aspects in Delhi Sultanate, even though directly it is not given, indirectly it is given in Satish Chandra. It is relatively moderate. If you know technology, how to handle it, it's all right. But even if you can score 40% also, it's very good. Now, Gandhi versus Tagore. It is relatively difficult to answer because you have to know the philosophy of Gandhiji, philosophy of Tagore, and here you need to give a differentiation on education and nationalism. This is relatively difficult question, and you need some kind of the personalities of Tagore and Gandhiji. But it is a straightforward question when it comes to the syllabus, because syllabus is saying personalities of modern India. They can ask any personalities, and this type of question is not also something new in UPSC. Earlier, they have asked Gandhiji versus Subhash Chandra Bose, Gandhiji versus Ambedkar, Gandhiji versus Tagore this time. In that sense, from UPSC point of view, it is purely according to the syllabus, but from the student perspective, it is relatively difficult question because you should have some kind of the biography or the life of Tagore, and you should know about life of Gandhiji life. Many of the students know. But life of Tagore, most of the students may not know in detail, except a few aspects. But here you need to compare both of them, difficult. If you can score 30% of the score or 35% also, it's very good score. Now when it comes to railways, here I have given, this is modern world. It is asking in the world perspective, but the content, again, when it comes to the content, the basic books what general studies students are reading, difficult to answer. If you just look at the history syllabus books or history books, this question is difficult. But now you are going to read other subjects also. For example, geography. Now I will tell you, here you have, there is 12th standard book, Old Human Geography. In Old Human Geography, there is a particular chapter in 12th standard, transportation. And this knowledge you have to use when it comes to this particular question. This is one aspect. Second thing is, in history NCERTs itself, Bipin Chandra, there is railways. Even though it is asked in the world perspective, whatever is happening in India, same thing happened in other parts of the world also. That is why you have to have some idea about this one. From geography NCERT, you can get some details and remaining details from the history books itself. So this is how interdisciplinary approach. You cannot directly look for the answer from the same particular history. That's why nowadays questions from history knowledge, you can write some questions in economy, polity also. With geography knowledge, you can write some answers in other subjects. So this is how you have to develop this capability gradually now while you are preparing for the next year. Don't expect every question that you can read and write from the same book. Once you sit in the examination hall, you don't know what source it is there in your brain. You have some kind of content related to railways. That content can come from geography also, economy also, history also, anywhere. You use every dimension, just you meet the demand of the question. In that way, this particular question can be handled. But from NCERT books itself, not from just history books, with help of geography NCERT and history NCERT, you can able to answer this particular question. In that way, relatively 4 questions you can handle, and 1 question moderate and 1 question is difficult one. Now we will go how to handle this. This analysis, is it clear, all of you students? Is there any clarity required related to books or any other dimension? Do you require any clarification? Now I will go one by one. Now we will discuss how to handle the real answer. All right. Now we will go chronology wise. Because this chronological point of view is very, very crucial when you are going to answer in UPSC. Geography and timeline. When it comes to history, these two are very, very essential aspects. First, you can make a map. The question itself is asking how geography play an important role. The first question is, explain the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. The question itself is saying, this is our geography, how the geographic location helps in understanding or the development of ancient history. This is how. Now when it comes to this, we have Himalayas. Here, desert is there. Now here, we have Indus River, Ganga River, Narmada, and you have Vindhyas also. Vindhyas, Narmada, and then Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, rivers. Now you have Western Ghats, you have Eastern Ghats. This way. Now we will see how this geography played an important role in the creation of history. You know that this is how these geographical factors played a very important role in making our ancient past. This understanding is required. Second one is come to the chronology. This question is asked about ancient India. Ancient India means you can go up to 750, or you can extend up to 1200 also, but 750 to 1200 we call early medieval. So that's why it is a transition period. Now if I write like this, (750 to 1200), it's a transition. It has the transition element from ancient to medieval. Before this, this is post-Gupta time period. Now from 300 to 500, you can consider Gupta time period. (200 BC to 300 AD, post-Mauryan). Then 321 is Mauryan. 600 BC is called Mahajanapada. Then before that, if you talk about 1500 BC, is Vedic time period. This is how our chronology comes. But before that, we have already, before Vedic period also, we have a period called prehistoric and protohistoric. And now, if we write like this, is it visible to you? Before 1500, 2600 to 1500, Indus Valley civilization. Then before that, prehistoric period. So this is how our society will be there. Gaggar Hakra, Roper, Ravi Harappa, yes. Good, Tarun. So many rivers are there, mountains are there, coastal area is there. We were surrounded with two oceans, Arabian Sea, below Indian Ocean, this side Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal. Now through Indian, we were always connected to this part, and we were connected to this part also. This geographical understanding always very, very crucial when you are reading about any particular timeline. Now you come to prehistoric period. When it comes to prehistoric period, we have in some places Paleolithic, then Mesolithic, then Neolithic. When it comes to Paleolithic people were depending on the stone tools. These people lived near the foothills. You will get the evidence near the hilly regions when it comes to here, Soan Valley, or when it comes to Bhimbetka, Adamgarh, near hilly region. Then in Karnataka, hilly areas, you will find some of the Paleolithic settlements. Paleolithic settlements you will not find in the plain areas because they require stone tools, and they need animals for hunting also. They need stone tools and they need shelters. They get shelters in the form of caves, and they have to depend on the hilly areas. That's why you will find these settlements near the hilly regions. Paleolithic, one example you can write. When it comes to Neolithic, the moment Neolithic comes, Neolithic is agriculture. And for agriculture, They are just about to come to the plains, but still they are depending on the stone tools. Paleolithic, then Mesolithic, then Neolithic. These people were depending on stone tools, and these stone tools you will get near foothills. That is why the history, now when it comes to Indian history, this history, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic history, related to this particular geographic location. Now, near hilly areas, these historical developments took place. Now come to Chalcolithic. Copper they used, agriculture, gradually they moved to the plain area. And wherever these plain areas are there, you will find these kind of settlements. And after that, Indus Valley civilization. Now you see the role of geography in Indus Valley civilization is huge. Here you have Indus River, then plain area. You have nearby certain hills also you have. Based on this, they used water resource, soil resources, then raw material near hilly areas, and their agriculture improved. Industrial activities flourished. And these rivers were used, now they are also flourished near ocean. If you come to this is the area where Indus Valley civilization flourished. Now in this Indus Valley civilization, they have access to ocean also, they have access to rivers also, certain hilly regions also. Based on all these factors, agriculture improved, industries improved, then trading activities improved. They connected with the Central Asia also, West Asia also, Mesopotamian civilization also, and they were getting raw materials from the distant lands also, trading activities. They used river, they used fertile soil for agriculture, and they used the raw material for industrial activities. As you read in Indus Valley civilization, they were having immense industrial activities like bead making they were having. Then they were procuring even gold also from different locations. Different semi-precious stones they were procuring. All these were happening because they were using the river resource and nearby hills. Then with oceans, they were connected with Mesopotamia also. That is how these human activities created Indus Valley civilization IVC history. How geography is playing important role. Now at this point of time, when it comes to other parts of India, when these people are living in urban areas, the other people are still living in the rural areas. And gradually, when early Vedic people come, again, early Vedic people, they were depending on the nature. When it comes to early Vedic, these people were depending in this location, Sapta Sindhva. Again, Sapta Sindhva means the 7 rivers in this location. It decided their history. And in this location, they were using the rivers, they were using the soil. Now, once they reach Gangetic Valley, here, fertile soil, Gangetic Valley. Now, here, agriculture became dominant. Gangetic Valley, known for fertile soil. Once whoever comes to this location, they will depend on this, and it helped them flourish. Now this geographical location, in agriculture flourished, then industrial activities flourished, then trading activities also. Then we are going to see for the first time in Mahajanapada time period, kingdoms. Mahajanapada. Many Mahajanapadas emerged in North India. Why only in North India? Because here it is Gangetic Valley, lot of resources are there. Now state can extract the resources from the people, and gradually they need the protection of the rulers. That is how different rulers emerged. 16 Mahajanapadas. But out of these 16 Mahajanapadas, a particular Mahajanapada called Magadha. Magadha is based in Bihar region. In comparison with other Mahajanapadas, they got the access to some other resources like iron resource. And they had fertile soil. These are very common. Because of iron access to iron resource, their military is very strong. They built a strong military and their economy progressed due to iron technology. As a result, this Magadha Janapada became very powerful. Gradually, it expanded into all the directions. Now, Magadha, for the first time in history, it became Pan-India Empire. How? The role of geography. It has got the access to fertile soil, so many rivers, Ganga River and its tributaries, hilly region nearby Chota Nagpur Plateau, access to iron resources. Once they get these resources, they were able to use all these resources in agriculture, in industry, in trading activities. Now state got more resources, state became powerful, they maintained huge army. Once they got the strong army, they started expanding to different areas. That is how first Pan-India Empire emerged. This is how geography is playing. Now, geography is playing the role in Indus Valley civilization that you can give. Next, when Vedic time period, how geography played important role, you can explain. And also, after Magadha, first political Pan-India Empire also is about to emerge by the time period of Mauryans. In this way, chronological wise, you can mention. Now, if I give you broadly, throughout our history, now how you can write the answer? You can divide the answer like political, economic, social, religious. In this way also, you can categorize your answer. Chronological wise also, you can give a lot of examples. Now, when it comes to Himalayas, Himalayas protected from the invasions. This is very difficult to cross. But this side, even though Himalayas are there, but here we have Khyber Pass, Bolan Pass. Now you see how geography determines the history of a particular location. This side, we were completely safe, defense, natural defense. But this side, here passes like Khyber Pass and Bolan Pass, they provided the access to both. Through this one, invaders also came. Through the same route, traders also came. Scholars also came. Religious preachers also came. Now you are seeing how geography is playing important role. This side passes are there, it provided access to all this. But this side, there is no such access. That's why the interaction at this level is different. Even Central Asian people also used to come to this route. This is how Himalayas are playing dominant role. Now, when it comes to Western Ghats, it provided more rainfall this side. In the interiors, less rainfall. As a result, their agriculture activities, here more agriculture, more fertile resource, water resource are there. That's why you will have rice production, wheat production. But when it comes to this area, rain shadow, less availability of water, ragi, bajra. Now you can see how the food habits are also changing. Because in this location, less availability of water, they have to save the water. Accordingly, these type of crops are grown there. Naturally, these type of crops are more drought-prone resistant. When it comes to here, more water availability. So food habits also determined by the soil. And when it comes to coastal area, here food habits, Fish is the major important one. Then fishing activities are more near the coastal areas. Now, when it comes to minerals, whoever get the access, they get the power like iron tools, iron technology. And with this iron technology, they can make agriculture tools, industrial tools, and military also. That is why Magadha is one example where I got access to iron technology. It's done. You can write these invasions also. Throughout these, because of this continuous, here we are going to see in post-Mauryan time period many invasions. Then Hunas will come. Then Turks also will come from this side, not from this side. This is how minerals are playing. Himalayas, soil, coastal areas, then minerals. For these minerals, for these resources, throughout our history, many kingdoms were fighting against each other. Here, Pallavas and Badami Chalukyas, they were fighting for the resources in this location. Later, Bahmani kingdom and Vijayanagara empire, they used to fight for the Raichur Doab. Again, the fertile soil is playing historical role. And Gangetic Valley, whoever controls Gangetic Valley, they become powerful. Because of that, tripartite struggle. In early medieval time period, Rashtrakutas were fighting for the Gangetic Valley, Gurjar Pratiharas were fighting for the Gangetic Valley, and Palas were fighting for the Gangetic Valley. So this is how history is dominated by our particular geographic location. And in this way, when it comes to religious ideology also, initially nature worship. Initially, people don't know what the nature forces. That's why people were believing in extraterrestrial forces. Hence, in early Vedic time period, Indra, Agni, Varuna, then many such nature-related gods also emerged, again because of this one. And Vindhyas, it provided as a barrier between north and south. Here, when it comes to north, a different culture emerged. Because of Vindhyas, the percolation is gradual, not a sudden one. It's a very gradual one, and it distinguished between Gangetic Valley culture and Deccan culture. Again, Vindhyas. So this is how, throughout ancient history, you can keep tracking from prehistoric, then Indus Valley civilization, then Vedic period, Magadha, you can give post-Mauryan period, so many invasions took place because of passes. Then in post-Gupta and in this time period, tripartite struggle again for Gangetic Valley. Then in post-Mauryan period, so many trading activities also happened because of ports. Roman Empire was connected with India, again because of the west coast. And Indian culture went to Southeast Asia, again because of the geography. This way, so many examples you can keep giving from time period to the time period. Any doubts you have? Up to ancient India, you can write the answer. Starting with prehistory to post-Gupta time period, you can give examples by examples. Other way, like how Himalayas played, how coastal plain played, how mineral resources played. In that way also, that is second structure. Third structure is politically how geography played, economically how geography played, socially how geography played. In this way also, you can give the different structure. According to your comfort, you can give the structure. So this is the first question. Is it clear? Now we will go to the second one. If you have any doubt, please ask me. Up to here clear? Now in ancient India itself, there is second question. The question is, question number 11. Question number 11 is, what are the main features of Vedic society and religion. Vedic society and religion. Do you think some of the features are still prevailing in Indian society? That is the question. Now here, in this particular, which part we have to take? From 1500 to 600 BC. From 1500 to 600 BC, here there is some social element, some religious elements are there. Question is asking, what are these societal and religious elements, and which of these elements are continuing even till today? What are these, and which of them are continuing? Now, they did not stop in 600 BC. These elements continued in Mauryan, post-Mauryan, and Gupta survived. They survived throughout the history, and today also they are there. Now, what are these societal elements? Now, whenever society comes, these are some of the dimensions I am going to write. Whenever you are writing about Vedic period, here they did not ask early Vedic or later Vedic. The moment when you don't see any early Vedic or later Vedic, that means they are asking about entire Vedic society. 1500 BC to 600 BC. This is the first understanding. After knowing this, then immediate next one, you have to imagine in which geographic location this particular time period Vedic society flourished. And early Vedic, this area, later Vedic, this area. So early Vedic, later Vedic period. Now it is asking about combining both, what are the societal elements and what are the religious elements. And when it comes to society, in those time period, 1500 to 600, what is the resource? How do we know about their society? From the Vedic literature. Vedic literature talks about the Vedic society. Then after giving the resources, then it talks about family system. It talks about mother, father, children. Now, this family is headed by father. That means patriarchal. So the domination of male member in society increased. Now this element, family, is continuing. Patriarchal society, continuing. So these are the elements and which are continuing. Now women condition, in early Vedic time period, liberal. But when it comes to Gangetic Valley, it became restricted. So these are the elements. Whether it is good or bad, that is, we have to discuss. But when it comes to the demand of the question, they are asking about what are the society, what are the main features of Vedic society. These are the features. And women in early Vedic, liberal, in later Vedic, restricted. Then when it comes to education, education is Vedic studies and associated Vedic scriptures were studied in education. But now this education is not open for all, because in early Vedic time period, this is a tribal character. And when it comes to the plains, Gangetic Valley, it became proper village. Here society is more liberal, here society segregated. And this segregation in Vedic literature and later Vedic associated literature we call Varna system. And this Varna system is still continuing in a different form. Still these ideas are continuing: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Now when it comes to education, this education also For Shudras, not accessible. For women also, not accessible. And if you consider almost till independence time period, these restrictions were continued. But it was not good for Indian society. That's why these social evils are gradually removed through Indian constitution. But this Varna concept is there due to inter-Varna emerge, Jati system emerged. And this Jati we call caste system in later Portuguese came. In Indian literature, this was called Jati system. But this Jati termed as caste when Portuguese came. Portuguese came in 1500s. 1498 Vasco da Gama came, and after that many Portuguese people came, and Portuguese people captured the coastal line. They captured Goa also from Bijapur. They built a Portuguese empire. And these, during that time period, they were giving the Portuguese terminology to the Indian social elements. And for Jati system, they used the term caste. Kasta they used. When British came, that becomes caste. And this caste is still persisting. It is one of the evils, but the tradition which started during Vedic time period. Varna system. So this is how, these are some of the elements of society. When it comes to religion, when it comes to early Vedic time period, nature worship. When it comes to later Vedic time period, more sacrifices. So religion, in early Vedic time period, nature worship, Indra, Agni, Varuna. These are the important gods in early Vedic time period. Today also, the same terminology applies even today's religion also. And when it comes to later Vedic time period, Indra, Agni, Varuna, they became minor gods, but major gods like Vishnu, Rudra, Shiva, Prajapati or Brahma, and various other gods and goddesses emerged. And many of them are still continuing. And after some time, at the end of later Vedic, Upanishadic thought, philosophy. Upanishadic, this Upanishadic thought, they started questioning. Now, in the name of religion, more sacrifices were going on. These sacrifices were questioned by Upanishadic. So when it comes to first part of the question, what are the features of religion means, you have to mention all of them. But which is continuing? The philosophical ideas, whatever Upanishads told, it's still continuing. It talks about Atman, Brahman. So it talks about the spiritual life. It talks about a simple way of life, simple living. And today, India also believes in these principles. Most of the Indians are still believing. So this is how some of these elements are still continuing. But when it comes to the features, these are the societal elements and religious elements. And gradually, this led to the rise of Bhakti tradition. Bhakti tradition. Now, often in the form of different Bhakti movements, Alvars, Nainars, then Bhakti movement in medieval time period, socio-religious reform movements in 18th, 19th century, and today also these ideas are still persisting. This is how this question. This is also related to ancient India. What are the main features of Vedic society and religion? Do you think some of the features are still prevailing in Indian society? Yes, some of these elements are still prevailing in Indian society. You mentioned those elements. Is it clear? Any doubts you have, students? Now we are moving to the medieval India. This is ancient India, 2 questions done. Now we'll go to medieval India. Shall I go to next one? Yes. Medieval India question. Now what is the medieval India question? What are the major technological changes introduced during Sultanate period? How did those technological changes influence the Indian society? What are the technological changes and how it influenced the Indian society? Again, it is asking about Delhi Sultanate time period. In history, two things you always remember. One is timeline. Delhi Sultanate, 1206 to 1526. And geography, in which geographical location these people ruled. So without India map, you cannot imagine exactly. So whatever happened, we have to apply that development to this land. 1206 to 1526. Now initially, this was the empire, because Delhi Sultanate was not independent initial times. Initially, Delhi Sultanate was established as part of Ghurid Empire. Ghur is a place in Afghanistan. So this is how, when it comes to initial phases, this happened this way. And due to here, Mongols, continuous Mongol attacks, completely they removed all these empires. They completely decimated these empires under leadership of Chengiz Khan. When these developments were going on, we were naturally defended by these mountains. But again, as I have said, Khyber Pass, Bolan Pass always gives the access. And this one, during this time period, Mongols were completely attacking these territories. And during that time period, Ghurid Empire was also eliminated by Mongols. At that time, this became independent. From that time period onwards, here Delhi Sultanate main priority is to protect the northwest frontiers. And they were mainly focusing on Indian subcontinent. So this is how Himalayas gave the natural frontier to Indian subcontinent. Whoever becomes the ruler, they always want to become the universal monarch. In the Indian literature, the universal monarch means from Himalayas to deep ocean, Indian Ocean. Whoever rules from this land to this land, from this side to this side, were praised as universal monarchs called Chakravartin. Every ruler wanted to aspire, become Chakravartin. Similarly, when it comes to Delhi Sultanate, they came initially from here. Once they come and settle here, but again here, Mongol attacks completely destroyed these empires. Gradually, now we don't have any relation with these people. Gradually, it became a separate entity. Initially, it was part of Ghurid Empire, later became independent. Even though it became independent, but continuous changes are common. The ideas, they used to come from this, and many people came. When many people came, many ideas came, they brought, during that time period, different technologies also developed. Some of them entered from this region, some of them indigenously developed, because it is not a single year, it's almost 300 years. So in those 300 years, some technological developments emerged. And how to answer this? When it comes to technology, you just think about agriculture technology, industrial technology. In this way, you will be able to extract the information. In NCERTs, whatever book you are reading, in NCERT, directly the technology of Delhi Sultanate is not given, but indirectly while discussing about non-agriculture production, agriculture production, they used to discuss about these technological developments. Now, when it comes to this particular gradually, they are going to expand, and after some time, again, disintegration takes place. Agriculture technology. So when it comes to agriculture technology, what kind of technology was there? Plowing technology, plowing already since ancient times it is going on. So since ancient times already going on, but only it is going to enhance further during this time period. Sowing. Next one, harvesting, threshing, winnowing. So this is the technology during Delhi Sultanate time period. This was the technology they were also using. Now when it comes to irrigation, irrigation already since ancient times, flood irrigation was there. Reservoirs were also there, wells were also there. But when it comes to this, pulleys, charkhi, this became innovative during this time period. In ancient time period, there was a concept called ghati yantra. Ghati yantra, they used to use the parts and they used to tie for a chain, and these parts were transported. That was called ghati yantra in ancient time period. During Delhi Sultanate time period, another equipment also came called pulley, that is charkhi. This is one. Now when it comes to textile, and textile means ginning, carding, spinning. This is the technology that is available. And ginning means seed extraction. Cotton seed. Carding means loosening the cotton. Spinning means the thread. They used to make this. Here, spinning wheel. That is the biggest invention, spinning wheel. So agriculture technology, then textile technology. When it comes to R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra, you will find these in different locations, but not under single heading. Then when it comes to textile, you have weaving technology, then dyeing. Dyeing, colors, different colors were used. So block printing was important development during this time period, block printing. So this is how, here, pulley, spinning wheel, block printing. These are the new developments during Delhi Sultanate time period, but activities are same activities. Different activities, they use a little bit new innovation. Now, next biggest contribution of Delhi Sultanate comes in the form of building activities. There more technological advancement came when in comparison with the ancient time period. Building. Building technology. They built huge mosques, huge tombs, huge fortifications, different monuments like Qutub Minar. So this way, when it comes to building construction activities, huge improvement we see in technology. The usage of lime mortar is the biggest contribution of Delhi Sultanate. Using earlier, when it comes to ancient India, stones were used, caves directly, suppose Ajanta caves, Ellora caves, rock caves, caves themselves, Ellora, Kailashnath temple, same mountain itself carved out. Stones. Bricks were used. Indus Valley civilization, there are so many brick temples also. Either stone or bricks or terracotta we were using. Lime mortar, maximum, the huge improvement when it comes to building construction is lime mortar usage. And they used, with this, because of this, arch and dome construction became easier. As a result, large-scale buildings were possible. Large-scale buildings were possible because of this. Then after that, paper technology. During ancient time period, we don't have paper technology, and paper technology is, during Delhi Sultanate time period, is about to gain the ground. Because in ancient time period, there was no paper. From China, initially from China, this technology emerged. By Delhi Sultanate time period, it came to India also. And during Delhi Sultanate time period, paper technology and paper binding. So book binding. Book binding is another important technology that became here. Next, military technology. Usage of iron stirrup, horseshoe, they were utilized very well, and gradually they started using gunpowder also. Gunpowder, even after Delhi Sultanate, Mughals, Babur brought gunpowder hugely. But before Babur, already Delhi Sultanate people were already using gunpowder, but they did not use large scale. Babur utilized it very well, that's why he could defeat Delhi Sultanate. But before them, before Babur itself, gunpowder technology is already there in Indian subcontinent. So gunpowder, firearms, already there. Then when it comes to food related, food technology, tin coating. When it comes to copper and brass, vessels. When copper and brass vessels were used, whenever there is a different kind of material, for example, lime, whenever such material is used here, it was becoming poisonous. And in order to prevent the poisoning of the food, tin coating is another invention that helped from not being spoiled, not being poisoned. And now glass manufacturing. Glass manufacturing also there. Shipbuilding activities are also there. Even though since ancient times these are there, but now they got more boost during Delhi Sultanate time period. Is there any other? All of you students? So these are some of the inventions or innovations during Delhi Sultanate time period. Technological things. Any doubt up to here? So we have discussed two ancient questions and one medieval question. Now we are going to modern India. Is it okay, online students? If you have any doubt, you please ask me. Then after lime mortar was used in Harappan Great Bath. Yes, Anubhav. But the large scale usage, when it comes to Harappan, they used more brick technology. Bricks used more. But on large scale, during Delhi Sultanate time period, they utilized this technology more. That's what we can say. When it comes to dome also, this is one aspect. There is one like, do you think dome is the innovation or invention of the Turkish? But they utilized this dome concept more. But in ancient India, Buddhist stupas, they were also looking like this only. So these elements, some of them already ideas are there, but these ideas utilized more. It became more trendy during 13th and 14th centuries. So as an example, you can quote, but on large scale at the societal level, this is how the usage of lime mortar became so huge that everywhere you will find huge mass tombs, fortifications, and monuments, and it has changed the social life of the people during Delhi Sultanate time period. Yes, true arc technology was not there, but a dome was there. So it's looking like a dome, but not true arc. So true arc and dome comes when it comes to Delhi Sultanate. So that is what you are going to explain in the answer. So even though the idea is there, but more improvement came during Delhi Sultanate time period. These are the different technological advancements. Any other doubts? Now we can go to modern India. Any doubts you have? Shweta, Karthik, Anubhav? Other students' name, I don't know whether Jigyasa. Now, modern. What is the modern question? How did the colonial rule affect the tribals in India, and what was the tribal response in the colonial oppression? This question is very direct. Just by reading Bipin Chandra Modern India, you will be able to answer this. For this, how you can just think like this: political, economic, social, like this. So it is asking about impact of British on tribal people. Again, always think about India. Then you see different tribal people in different locations. So here also tribal people are there. Here also tribal people are there. Tribal people are there. And the best tribal revolts, Santhal rebellion, Munda rebellion, Bhil, Kol, Rampa, so many. Here also, northeast tribes, Khasi, they revolted. Here Santhal and Munda. And Rampa. Then here, Bhil, Kol, different tribal people revolted against the British. And what was the reason? And here, broadly, you can political reason, economic reasons, social reasons, religious reasons. Now these people, they were having autonomy in their own land. Now when British came, their autonomy is lost, they captured their lands. So they attacked and captured. And earlier, the tribal chiefs who were enjoying the political rights, now they lost these political rights. And gradually, they started revolting against the British. Economically, their land, now loss of land. Earlier, community ownership was there. All tribal people were utilizing it. Now they could not. Again, they have to fight for their rights. Again, social and religious, they were having their own customs, practices, ritual practices. With Christian missionaries, these customs and practices also got affected due to Christian missionaries. Now this also alienated them, and all these reasons it helped. It made the tribals to attack them. And that is why Santals also, Rampa rebellion and Munda rebellion, everywhere. Socio-political, economic, religious. By reading Bipin Chandra, you will be able to answer this question. You need not to worry about it because it is almost straightforward. Loss of land, loss of break to customs and practices, Christian missionaries, Western education. In their lands, they were railways. And these lands were using for minerals. And because of this tribal displacement, now it affects everything, socio-political, economic life. And all these reasons made or forced them to fight against the British. This is direct question. Now, another major question comes, Rabindranath Tagore and Gandhiji. That is little difficult question. Let us try how you can think and how you can answer this. This is straightforward question. This is not much difficult. Next question is Gandhiji versus Rabindranath Tagore. Now, in order to understand this, we should have some idea about the life of Tagore and Gandhiji. Then we will get some better understanding how to handle this. Now you see this, two different people, two different geographic locations. Here Rabindranath Tagore and here Gandhiji. And Rabindranath Tagore, both were born in 1860s only. He also born in 1869. And Rabindranath Tagore was born in 1861. In 1860s, now you observe this, Gandhiji and Rabindranath Tagore, they both were born in 1860s. In 1860s, when it comes to this area, already socio-religious reform movements were more. If you remember, here Brahma Samaj. Raja Ram Mohan Rai, he established in 1820s. After 1820s, Brahma Samaj was led by, do you remember, from Tagore family, one leader lead Brahma Samaj after Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Do you know who is he? Debendranath Tagore. Debendranath Tagore. And Debendranath Tagore is father of Rabindranath Tagore. Father of Rabindranath Tagore. Now, Rabindranath Tagore is grown up in this intellectual atmosphere. Already enlightenment. So, in this area, enlightenment phase is going on. In that intellectual atmosphere, In that intellectual atmosphere, Rabindranath Tagore is growing, and gradually here, Western education, and this intellectual environment, it's gradually growing. And when it comes to Gandhiji, he is grown up in a different environment. And in fact, if you remember, do you remember who is the first civil servant of India? Any idea? Who is the first civil servant of India? Students, any idea who is the first Indian civil servant? Is it Surendranath Tagore or Satyendranath Tagore? Satyendranath Tagore. Surendranath Banerjee is different. Satyendranath Tagore. Satyendranath Tagore is brother of Rabindranath Tagore. He is the brother of Rabindranath Tagore, and he was the first Indian civil servant. And as part of his, now he is the civil servant, he has to serve everywhere. So Satyendranath Tagore used to go to different locations, and he served in Western India also. Rabindranath Tagore also used to go to his places. So in this atmosphere, he was grown. And as a result, what happened gradually? Rabindranath Tagore, he has seen different natural environment, different geographic locations, and different intellectual ideas of those times, both Eastern ideas as well as the Western ideas. When it comes to Gandhiji, in his earlier times, his exposure is not this much. And he was mostly, exposure is the Indian way of life, the Indian traditions. And later he went to South Africa, and there he served for more than 2 decades, and later he came. Now by 1900s, by both these people, they developed their own view of nationalism and education. The question is asked about on education. What are Gandhiji views and what are Tagore views? So question is, it's asked about what was the difference between Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore in their approach towards education and nationalism. When it comes to education, Tagore believed in universal values. And nature learning. Nature learning. And he established Shantiniketan, and later it became Vishwabharati. And it is like open learning. And he don't want to teach only in a particular subject area. He wants all-round development. Like arts, music, literature. So both arts and science. So he wants a holistic environment and nature environment, and in that environment, Tagore believed that a student can fully realize his potential. So full realization of a student, of brain. That is through nature connect, through travelings, through nature, open school. It is not like a regular classroom. It is open school in the nature itself, in the lap of nature. He believed that a mind of a student grow to fullest potential in that kind of environment. That kind of education system he believed in. When it comes to Gandhiji, he wanted a basic education for all. Now, this kind of education, how many people can offer this? That is also, it's practically how many people can go for this. When it comes to Indian, here already now in 1920s and 1930s, India is very poor country. Very poor, diseases, life expectancy is very low, agriculture is overburdened, famines, droughts. British made Indians treating like as slaves. British were taking all the riches of India, but India is a rich country. But riches are going to England, but Indians are becoming poor. So India is a rich country, but Indians are poor. That was the condition. Now Gandhiji's more ideas are more towards the practical solution to these issues. And now his main focus is to solve some of these, and he felt that basic education called Nai Talim. He felt this basic education is important for everyone, and his main focus was vocational education, so that they can get the livelihood also. And he teaches the ethics through these things only. He also believed in moral education. Along with moral education, his another aim also to teach the vocational training so that the people can ensure the self-sustain, what we call self-rule. So he means self-rule means no need to depend on others for livelihood. And he also wanted Gram Swaraj. This Gram Swaraj means every village is a self-sustaining entity. Self-sustaining unit. So when it comes to Rabindranath Tagore, the full realization of the brain potential, full realization of the human being, human nature. But Gandhiji focus is vocational training that requires basic education and also vocational training, so that every individual become self-reliant and every village become self-reliant, so that poverty, people can come out of the poverty with basic education. And some of these elements were also included in Varda scheme. If you read Bipin Chandra itself, we will come to know that Gandhiji ideals were incorporated in Varda scheme of education. That is why in our basic books, you don't have separated like the ideology of Gandhiji with respect to education, ideology of Tagore with respect to education. In different pages, you have Gandhiji's policies. In different pages, you have Tagore ideologies. But you have to combine it. That's why this question is a little bit tricky. If you have to combine, merge different pieces into one place. Is it clear? This is with respect to education. Just now I have shown you Tagore was born and brought up in a different environment that created a different kind of intellectual capability in Rabindranath Tagore. But when it comes to Gandhiji, a different kind of atmosphere he was grown and he is living, and his way towards education is different. His way towards education is different. Now, when it comes to education, two things are going on: Western education and Oriental education. And that is what Anglo-Orientalist controversy also. Macaulay says one library of English literature or European literature is not even equivalent to the entire literature of Asia and Arabia. So he shows, so that throughout history, whatever literature that developed in Arabian land and Asia is not even matched to single library, single shelf of British library. So that shows the kind of condemnation, the kind of racial attitude towards the knowledge of Oriental knowledge. Now, due to socio-religious reform movement and gradual awareness within the Indians, people like Gandhiji and Rabindranath Tagore both started praising Indian way of life and also Indian knowledge. But when it comes to the Western knowledge, there is little bit different stand. When it comes to Gandhiji, more focus towards the Indian traditions. And when it comes to Rabindranath Tagore, he believed both in West also, both in East also. He sees always entire Indian, not only Indians, entire world as a single family. And because of this, he don't want to differentiate between Western knowledge and Eastern knowledge. So he always felt like knowledge is knowledge, whether it is taking birth in West or in the East. He always wants a single person, individual brain has to be realizing the fullest potential. You cannot differentiate between East and West because all human beings are same. It's not about Indian, it's not about Britain. We both are human beings. He always focus on the universalism. And that is where the difference will come when it comes to Gandhiji and Rabindranath Tagore. Similarly, now same kind of differences will come when it comes to nationalism also. Here, full realization of the brain potential. Here, vocational education for removing the poverty. So, practical utility of the education, he more talk about Gandhiji. This is with respect to Gandhiji. Next, with respect to nationalism. Gandhiji and Tagore. Here, he focused on nationalism. And when it comes to Tagore, he used to feel that nationalism is a narrow ideology. Nationalism is a narrow ideology, and he condemned extreme nationalism. He felt that it divides people, that means globe. You have to think people means not Indians or Japanese or Russians. People means entire, whole humanity. Tagore says, this extreme nationalism and narrow nationalism ideology will divide the people of different countries. It creates hatred towards the other countries, and it leads to violence. For example, Japanese people, they propagated the Japanese ideology or the Japanese nationalism. For Japanese people, it is a very big achievement. But what happened after some time? The Japanese people started undermining the Chinese, then started undermining the other countries, started undermining other areas also. Now, this kind of nationalism is harmful for the humanity. And when it comes to same, in Europe also, Germany nationalism. German people loved their country so much that they started hating their neighboring countries. And as a result, First World War, Second World War started happening. And Rabindranath Tagore also said, this extreme form of nationalism is not good for the humanity itself, because in the name of nationalism, people will start fighting against each other. And that's why Japanese nationalism, initially it helped. It helped to unify, but later it became, just a second. Initially, it helped to make Japan very big, but later same nationalism crushed the aspirations and nationalism of other countries. That is why he is not in favor of nationalism, but he is in favor of internationalism. Tagore always believed in international, because every human being is same, and every human being should follow the ethical values, moral values, humanism. So he believed in internationalism rather than the nationalism. But he is not against Indian nationalism as long as it is peaceful. That's why he is in Bengal. If you remember, during 1910s, do you have any idea that in 1910s, revolutionary activities were going on? Here, Khudiram Bose, Prafulla Chaki, you might have heard these two names, and they killed few British people. So that is how he believed that this extreme nationalism is a kind of diversion, or it will create terror in the other people, and it is not good for India also. That's why he always believed in internationalism. When it comes to Gandhiji, his main focus was self-rule. His nationalism means self-rule. And Indians are capable to administer. And he believed nationalism means not only a political unity, but also self-sustainability in economy, society as well. And his nationalism it should not be a nationalism of the elite, not only for elite. Freedom from British is not only for the elite only, but freedom for the common people also. Freedom from poverty. So his nationalism is, if you grow love towards India, then it will help to drive Britishers out of India, and also it will help the Indians to become self-sustained and self-rule. Indians can rule themselves. Once India become independent, it become free from the poverty also. So this is more a practical approach. Both believed in non-violence, both believed in truth, but when it comes to the overall understanding of nationalism, extreme nationalism is not good for India, he believed, not good for entire humanity, he believes. But when it comes to this, as long as it is not violent, loving a nation is not harmful. And in fact, his nationalism is freedom not only from British, freedom from poverty, socio-economic evils also. So this is what nationalism in Gandhiji's idea and internationalism when it comes to Tagore. These are some of the basic differences when it comes to Gandhiji and Tagore. Any clarification is required at this point of time? Up to now we have studied modern India also. Now in modern India we have one more question, that is impact of the railways. Impact of railways is relatively easy question, but the question it was asked in the world context. Even despite that, you need not to worry at all because it is going to be the common. Bring out the socio-economic effects of the introduction of railways in different countries of the world. Bring out socio-economic effects. Students, is it clear up to now? We are going to discuss the last question. So in another 6 to 7 minutes, we will complete this one. I will explain this when it comes to this. Here you see. The question is saying, bring out the socio-economic effects. Socio-economic effects with introduction of the railways. And the question is saying railways in different countries of the world. Different countries of the world, not only one particular country, different countries. In India also, different areas were connected. China also, Japan also, Europe also, then America also. In different parts. When it comes to now present day, you are going to see in different countries of the world, everywhere different areas are getting connected. Russia also, train, Europe also, United Kingdom also, in India also, China also, Japan also, and Australia also. This one you will get from NCERT. That's why I told in NCERT geography. You will have a transportation in old human geography transportation. There you will find transcontinental railways. Transcontinental means when it comes to Russia, from west side to east side, railways connected. And when it comes to here in Canada, from western coast to east coast, railway connected. So that side to this side. Russia from west to east. In Europe, different countries, in Germany, France, everywhere connected. In England also, they were connected. In India also connected. Now when it comes to social and economic impact. Now you see economic impact. First, the goods from one place to the other place, they moved, whether it is Britain, whether it is India, China, or Russia, everywhere, goods from one place to the other place. For example, from ports to interiors. The manufactured goods, if ports are importing, these imported goods enter into the interiors of the country. Just you can apply the same here with respect to railways. In NCERT itself, you have the impact of railways on India, or the introduction of railways in Indian subcontinent. There it is going to discuss about different consequences of railways. Same consequences, they are going to take place here also, here also, here also. Everywhere only country name will change, but the impact is remain same. Ports, economic impact, goods can be transported. When it comes to interior, from interior to here, raw materials can be exported. Raw materials. So when it comes to India, raw materials exported to ports and from ports to other countries. And same is the case with all the colonization. Wherever colonizers started creating railways, they were exporting the raw materials from the colony and importing or dumping the manufactured goods. And in that way, railways affected. For one country, it is benefited. For colony, it is not beneficial. But this is the economic impact. Now, goods exported raw materials, and it connected various markets. It connected one area of market from northwest to the northeast, it connected. Now when it comes to Russia, you have to give examples to different areas. From this western side to eastern side, goods were connected. Now in some places agriculture is more, in some places industries are more. And industrial products will come there, agriculture products can go there. And same is the case with here also. Now in some places coal will be there, in some case iron. Iron goes to industry, industrial towns, urban areas, and urban goods will come to the village. And wherever these transportation created, urban areas flourished. Urban areas, so many urban areas flourished. Now because of these railways, new industrial towns also emerged. When it comes to Indian industries, like steel plants industries, you can give the example. Steel plants, Jamshedpur. These steel towns, industrial towns also established due to railways. Now once goods are there, markets are connected, urban areas emerged, raw material areas to the industrial areas can be transported. These are all the economic effects. Economy means think about agriculture perspective, industrial perspective, trading perspective, urban areas. So this way, agriculture from one market to the other market, artisan, goods from one place to the other goods, trading activities flourished, and urban areas, different towns emerged because of the railway connectivity. So these are the elements of economic impact of railways in India also, in other parts of the globe also. When it comes to social, if you take in India, now one language, people to other language areas, people got connected, people connectivity. Because of railways, Indian freedom fighters were able to meet different people across the country. People to people contact increased. As a result, people got exchange of ideas. Here, Bengal is very intellectually advanced. In 1900s, those ideas entered into Madras region. Madras ideas entered into Bombay region. Bombay entered into Punjab region. In that way, people to contact increased, ideas exchanged. Nationalism, it helped the growth of nationalism. The feeling, the idea of nation, that we are all same, is increased because of this one. So as a result, exchange of ideas, nationalism emerged, and regions connected. When it comes to Russia, western part of people and the eastern part of people get connected. Similarly, north and south, east and west got connected. Same is the case with Germany people also, French people also. German people connected, their markets connected, ideas connected, nationalism became very strong force. All these helped them to make a nation very strong. So socially, and when it comes to India particularly, wherever colonies are there, these colonies, because of railways, the agriculture products, people taken away the grains from one area to the other areas, and as a result, famines and droughts also emerged. Famines, and when it comes to drought, during drought condition or during any natural calamity, famines become due to scarcity of the grains, because every grain they exported to other areas. As a result, famines took place in that social condition. So you can give education, ideas emerged, education from one section to the other section. Idea of nationalism emerged because of this. Because of this, also modern ideals like liberty, equality, fraternity, these concepts entered into different parts of Indian subcontinent in other areas also. And it gradually helped women also to come into the public spaces, impact on women also, impact on other castes also. Suppose when it comes to Indian society, which is a caste-ridden society, Varna system, because of transportation, people moved from one place to the other place. Even though racial segregation was there, but gradually it helped to mix one population with the other population. So caste restrictions, Varna restrictions, religion restrictions, region restrictions, all got started loosening because of the continuous interaction that is due to railways. In India, these are the developments. When it comes to Russia, slavery was there, and there also regional people have different regional identities. They also got weakened, and as a result, the emergence of Russia as a nationalism, national identity emerged. So the bondage of the common people emerged. And when it comes to this Canada, East Coast and West Coast help, and from West Coast also they can import the goods, and from East Coast also they can import and export the goods. It helped to connect with the outside world also. International connectivity also emerged because of railways connectivity. So this way you can apply, just use the geographic knowledge and use those elements and apply the NCERT impact of railways on India to other countries also. Same is the case, like here nationalism grew in other places also. Whoever colonial masters, their empires got strengthened, but when it comes to colonial people, nationalism got strengthened because of railways. These are socio-economic impacts of railways introduction. Up to here, is it clear, students? All of you, could you follow? This is the last question. Okay. So this is the last question. We have finished all the questions. 2 ancient and 1 medieval, 2 modern and 1 old question. Just if you see these questions with your basic books only, you need not to fear about the history related questions. With the basic books, as I said, in easy question try to get the maximum score, and when it comes to difficult question, every student face the same difficulty. But if the average, if other students are getting 30% of the score, if you get 40% of the score, that means that is very good score. But in easy question, if others are getting 50% of the score, then you should be able to get minimum 50 or 60% of the score. In this way, when it comes to competition examination, difficulty level will not be deciding. Easy and moderate questions will decide the competition. So this is how you have to deal with the modern India questions. If you have any doubts, you please go ahead, ask me the doubts. So otherwise, we will wind up the class here. So thank you very much, and use the same books only. No need to worry about different books. Whatever books you are studying, R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra, Bipin Chandra, Spectrum also you can read for modern India. The same books, whatever you are already following, just you develop the right perspective. This perspective will develop if you keep on writing the model answers, if you keep on write the answer writing. So practice more and more questions when you are preparing itself. If you write more questions, very good habit of writing skill develops. You will be able to score very high marks in paper. All right, students. Thank you very much. In next session, we will meet. I will keep posting. All right. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Nong. Thank you, all of you. We will meet in some other session.